Today, we're going to focus on glass break detection. What are some of the benefits of having glass break detectors in a facility?
Well, whenever you have a facility, you want to detect when you have an intrusion. You need to cover all penetrations. By that, I mean you need to cover every means that an intruder might use to gain entrance to the building. So when you have your doors, you use a magnetic contact. A magnetic contact will detect when a door is open and a door is closed. You can't do that necessarily with glass because if you want to get through a window, you're not going to open it necessarily. You might shatter it. You might break that glass, make yourself a hole that way, and get into the building through the broken glass. So you would want to have some way of detecting when that glass is breaking so that you can get an early alert. You can know instantly when somebody is breaking that glass in order to enter your facility.
So a window contact would detect when the window is open, but not necessarily detect if glass is broken, and that's when you would use a glass break detector.
Right. The contact is going to detect when the window is actually open by detecting when the contacts are being pulled apart. But if you never open the window in order to get through the window, the contact is not going to work. So you need the contact because if somebody opens the window, the glass break detector is not going to pick anything up. And you need the glass break detector too, because if somebody shatters the glass, the contact's not going to pick that up. So you need both of those technologies working in conjunction with each other.
Got it. So in years past, early intrusion panels, early glass break detectors kind of got a bad rap.
Sure.
Versus technology today. How has that technology improved?
So modern glass break detectors from Bosch have an improved acoustic microphone so they can more accurately pick up the sound of a breaking glass. They also have analytics on board. They have a little chip that analyzes the sound and can determine the difference between something that sounds kind of like breaking glass, like jangling keys or whatever, and something that actually is breaking glass. So it's listening for both sounds, because when something breaks a glass, you have a low tone, that's the actual impact, and then you have the high tone, you have the actual shattering of the glass. So it's looking for both of those things at once in a specific pattern. If it doesn't get it in that specific pattern, it's not going to declare that event as being breaking glass, and it's not going to trigger the panel.
So if we look at the picture behind us as an example, a brick going through this window isn't going to be detected. However, the cracking or shattering of this glass pane, that's what the glass break detector detects?
So yes, you can actually make a hole in the glass without breaking the glass. You see that sometimes with bullets. You can shoot a glass from a distance and the whole pane isn't going to shatter, it's just going to make a small hole, which is fine because that's not what the glass break detector is designed to pick up. It's designed to pick up the whole pane of glass shattering because that's the only way for an intruder to get inside. An intruder can't get inside from a tiny hole. They actually need to shatter the whole glass and push the glass out of the way to get a human-sized hole in the glass. So this is the low tone. This is the thing that actually, this is the impact that actually breaks the glass, and this is the high tone. This is the actual shattering of the glass itself. So this thing happening and this thing happening in a certain amount of time is what sets off the glass break detector, and that's what helps to minimize the amount of false alarms or unintended alarms.
Awesome. So for those that have never seen a glass break behind us, those two white things, the round one and the square one, that's what they look like?
Yeah, so different form factors. That's what the Bosch glass break detectors look like. We also make a flush mount detector that's designed to fit inside a workbox.
Okay, great. So where do glass break detectors get installed? Do you put them on the glass? Do you put them on the same walls the glass? Do you put them across the room looking at the glass? Tell us how you get these things installed.
So proper installation is vital. If you don't install your glass break detector in the right spot, it's not going to pick up the sound of breaking glass. You may not as well use it at all. So the ideal spot is 10 to 20 feet from the glass. It can be as far as 25 feet away, or it can be within 10 feet. It can be as close as 5 feet from the glass. It can't be further than 25 feet away, and it can't be closer than 5 feet either. So the best spot is on an opposite wall, facing glass head on. The best spot is with the glass break center aimed at the exact center of the glass. It doesn't have to be the exact center. It can be within 30 degrees of the center, but the best spot is aimed at the actual center of the glass. The glass has to be more than 12 inches by 12 inches, and it has to be smaller than 25 feet across. Okay, so 30 degrees, the way you figure that out is you have your hand straight out, that's about 90 degrees. You cut that in half, that's about 45 degrees or so. You cut that in half, that's about, that's a little under 30 degrees. So it has to be 30 degrees of center. If you have
let me interrupt you. So 30 degrees, 5 to 20 feet away from the glass? Is that?
And that's the best spot that's the best spot for a glass break detector.
Okay.
Okay. So you could also have the glass break detector on the ceiling above the window, as long as it's 5 feet out from the window.
Okay, so if I have, let's say I have a row of offices with glass, and there's no partitions, right? There's small cubicles, and there's glass running down the building, right? How many detectors do you need to span that amount of glass? Is it by the amount of windows, or is it by distance? Like, I understand how far away you should put it from the glass, but how far will it detect? How far will one of those detectors detect?
So the detector has a bubble about 25 feet across.
25 feet.
Okay, so a good way of testing this is by tying a string or taping a string to the spot where you want to mount the glass break detector, and then physically moving that string and making sure that the string can touch every part of the glass. Of course, that's the old-fashioned way of doing it. If you have a CAD program of some kind, you can make a virtual string and just make sure that everything is within 25 feet. If you have a very large window, or if you have a big bank of windows, you can have a glass break detector every 20 feet. You want to make sure that all the glass breaks are equidistant from each other, so you want to space them evenly, not more than 20 feet apart from each other, otherwise they're not going to be in the same bubble. And you want to make sure that the entire bank of windows, or the entire picture window, is covered by that detection bubble. Again, either using the old-fashioned string method, or if you have a CAD program, because this is the 21st century, by actually measuring 25 feet and making sure that the detection pattern, the detector can actually cover the entire glass.
Understood. So let's say I'm the Bosch dealer and I install these units, and now I want to make sure they work. I don't think the customer's going to like me going in and breaking all his windows.
Not more than once.
To test the glass break detector. So
sure.
How do we test these things?
So we actually make a tester unit. It is a little microphone that makes the sound of breaking glass when you press the button, and it's actually designed to make that sound, make those two tones, so that you can make sure that you're accurately representing the sound of breaking glass. So you just take the detector, you mount up the detector wherever you're installing it. You can power it with a transformer, or you can connect it to a monitor, but to connect it to the panel. And then you can take the detector and just physically hold it at the furthest points and at all the points of the glass, and set it off, put the detector into test mode, and make sure that the detector picks up every time you're using the tester.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you only need one tester to go around and test all the glass break detectors. You don't need one for each glass break detector.
Right, you buy the tester once, keep it in your truck, and then you walk around with the tester and set the tester off, press the button, making the sound of breaking glass.
So let's get a little bit technical. These devices, are they powered devices, non-powered devices? How do they get their...
So they're all powered devices. So you need 4 conductors. You need 2 conductors for circuit, and you need 2 conductors for power, and they're powered off the panel, and they're very low draw, so you can have lots and lots of these sensors on the same panel without having to use an aux power supply.
Ari, thanks for explaining glass break detectors to us. I think it's an important piece of detection to add to a facility and a Bosch panel. For those out there that need any more information, please don't hesitate to email us at support@midchest.com. Thanks, Ari.